Hello guys, so in this video we are going to talk about how to implement what if analysis in TIBCO Spotfire. So for those who don't know what is what if analysis, so in simple terms it can be said that suppose if you are doing some calculation and if you change a particular parameter of that calculation, how is the end result going to be affected. So for example, let's say we have an loan calculator where if I change my rate of interest, how is my overall amount or the interest amount is going to vary, right? So depending upon the change in a specific parameter, how is my output going to be affected, right? So what will happen if I change a particular parameter? So what will happen if I change a particular parameter of my calculation? So what will happen if? So what if analysis, right? So the another example could be, suppose I have an company where I manufacture certain products, and assuming that I am selling all the products at MRP, I am generating some revenue that is roughly around 24.91 million, right? Now what will happen if I provide some kind of discount on the MRP, right? So suppose if I say I will provide an discount of, let's say, 16%, then obviously my total revenue is going to decrease, but now it will be 29.93 million. And similarly, if I change it to, let's say, 37%, it is going to be now 15.70 millions, right? And not only the numbers, but if I change my percentage, my bar chart or the bar length from my chart will also vary dynamically as I change the discount percentage, right? So very useful feature, not just to change the calculation but to make the dynamic visualizations as well, right? So now let's understand how do we implement this in Spotfire. So to implement this, we will go to a different window where I have already loaded my data, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a simple bar chart here, and I'm going to select country as my category axis, and here I go, and then I'll create the value axis as total of my order amount, and I'll name it as total amount, right? And as a placeholder I'll create another value axis, and this time we'll again just for the placeholder we'll just keep it as a sum of order amount and name it as the discounted amount. We are going to come back here and change the formula for this one, okay? And we are going to change it to side by side bar chart, right? And we will give them some good colors, and here and at the second color we can select the green. Looks good, that's fine. Now we are going to implement the slider. So for that what we'll do is we will take a text area and we will drag the text area to the top to have the better use of space, and we'll just right click on the text area, select edit text area. Inside this we are going to create a slider. So we will bind our slider value to a document property, or in simple terms we are going to create a variable where we'll store the slider value, right? So we will create a new variable or new document property, and we can call this as discount percentage, right? And then we will change the data type to integer and keep the default value as 0, and would like it to be a numerical range from the drop down, and the initial value or the minimum value will be 0. The maximum value would go to 100. It can depend upon your use case, and here I'll keep the interval as 1 so that I can change the percentage by 1, right? And I'll click OK. So once I click OK, I can save this and I will close this, right? So my slider is ready, but if I move my slider now, you'll see the values are not changing. So what we have to do is we have to make the changes in the custom expression, right? Or in the calculation. So we'll go to the custom expression. We'll take the second part to the bottom, and here we will add the discount factor. So what we will do is we will multiply this by 1 minus. So let's say we have the discount percentage here, so we'll search for that property and then insert this as a value, right? And then we'll say we want to divide it by 100 and close it, and that's it. Okay, and now if I change this, right, you can see my bar length is changing, right? So I have done it with the bar chart. Now I would do the same with the KPI, right? So for that I'll go to the KPI chart here, and we'll just bring it up on the right side of the text area. We will expand this a little bit, and then we'll go to the properties and then select those KPIs, and then in this KPI I'll go to the settings. I don't want the tiles, so I'll just remove that. I don't want the time coordinate, so I'll remove that. So I'll just have the value, right? And value that I want is the order amount as the, I'll say, total revenue, correct? And I'll say okay, I'll just format this a little bit. So I'll go to the formatting, I'll keep it to the currency, use thousand separator, use short form, and we'll keep the decimals to only 2 places and click close. Now since we have to create a similar value with the similar formatting, instead of creating it from the scratch, we can simply duplicate this KPI, right? And here we will right click here, go to the custom expression, and I'll just reuse the one which I already have used and then take just the second part, right? And then what we'll do is we'll just rename this as discounted revenue. So discounted revenue, and click OK, and close and close and done. So if you change it here, right, it is as simple as that, right? Now suppose in some scenario, if you feel that slider may not give you the good accuracy while selecting the values, so in that case you can use an input field. So for that you can just go to the text area, and here you will just insert an input field, and you will map that input field to the same variable or document property, and then click OK and save this. We can just give it a proper name, and then we can say at select discount percentage, right? And we'll just save this and close this, and here you go. I'll just make it a big larger. And if I say, let's say, what will happen if I give 25% discount? So now my revenue will decrease from 24.91 million to 18.69 million. So it is as simple as that to implement what if analysis in TIBCO Spotfire, and I hope you will be using it quite a lot, not just to create dynamic calculation or values, but also to create dynamic visualizations. So that's all for this video. See you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye bye.